self-documenting code.
You don't want to have button 1, you want to have enter.
Right.
That's the action button.
Right. I came up, I don't know, you can probably think of a few more. I came up with these barriers to electronic access. Is there anything, I mean, I think there's stuff there that probably is surprise to, or maybe you don't understand exactly what I mean by the statement. Any questions?
Pixie sticks.
Oh, yeah, okay, pixie sticks. That's my favorite word. Otherwise known as word smart shapes, which aren't really very smart at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay. There is so many problems with that stuff, not the least of which is, you know, I don't know if you've ever opened something that somebody's drawn something with that, and you open it on your computer, and it doesn't look at all like what they drew. Because for whatever reason, your properties or your style template that you use change things up, and so all these things are now disconnected, or they're looking, you know, they don't usually rotate, but they end up in different spots on the page. And but also in this arena are the wonderful things like arrows, call-outs, all that stuff, and all that stuff is not of itself, well, especially the arrows, call-outs, and like, is not 508 compliant. Because why? Because say an arrow that points up and to the left, that's all it is. It's a graphical thing that to our own cognizance is pointing up and to the left, but the computer doesn't know what it is. And if you put it in there and you expect somebody that uses assistive technology is going to understand what you did, they won't, because all they have is an arrow, or all they have is is something in the language of the document that says there's a picture here. Even if you give it up arrow to the left and you point it at a button on a GUI screenshot that's behind it, the person using assistive technology is not going to know what it's pointing at.
A blind reader is not going to read very much to you.
Exactly, and you know, and I run into people, especially in PowerPoints, right? People love that kind of stuff. You know, flowchart this, and, you know, and all around it, and it's totally lost without. And I tell people, I say, would you rather write 2 or 3 paragraphs of alt text, or do you want to just write 1 paragraph and just tell me, you know, verbally what you're doing? And you know, when you put it that way to them, a lot of them get it.
One thing I had here, this is just something I've seen in my software testing, is non-scalable documents. Like
Okay.
a web page that I had company sites with this, where the developers built it on a 17-inch monitor, and then it was deployed to nurses on 15-inch monitors, and it didn't auto scale, and so the control buttons that were on the right-hand side were gone. And it didn't have auto scroll bars turned on, and so you literally couldn't get to them unless you changed the resolution to micro size, and then you couldn't read the text, but you could always get to the buttons.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Well, and there's another emergent technology that has that problem too, right? I've got some of my own web pages that I can't see on my own phone because they have frames.
Yeah.
You know, frames pretty much don't work on the phones, and it's not the only thing that doesn't work on the phone. A lot of things, yes. Heck, there's stuff on my computer that doesn't work on Windows, on Internet Explorer 10. I don't know where we're going, but I'm afraid it's not a happy place.
That favorite PowerPoint trick where you build the flow chart or the picture as you go along, and keep clicking and talking to it, keep adding things. Try that with a blind person and see how that works.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, so what are the benefits of addressing the problems? I came up with 3. You can probably think of at least 3 or 30 more, but the one thing that really kind of impressed me was you stand the opportunity, you stand the chance in your business to increase your customer pool or your employee pool by 5 to 10% if you will pay attention to people with disabilities, because that's about the figure of people that have significant disabilities in one way, shape, or form.
You know, I remember a figure, the male population, 12% of the male population has some form of alcohol use.
Yeah,
12%, that's
Yeah.
high.
yeah, it is. It's quite a bit. Okay, a little bit of law here for you. So this is the new kid on the block, more or less. I mean, it's not totally new because there's a Web Content Accessibility Guideline 1.0, and that's kind of analogous to Section 508 of ADA. Same, they kind of mesh. My only complaint about the 508 is it's got a lot of things in it that aren't very well quantified. There are other national standards which don't necessarily apply to us unless we're in multinational business, but Canada has their own, Europe has a whole set, UK is unique and it has its own set, and Australia and New Zealand at least collaborated on something. And then, you know, whatever is going on in Asia. Now, this is kind of a watch out for this, I say, because if you get in here and you really get interested in this and start reading all this literature, you'll start to say, oh, well, this is just talking about web page and website and web page design. That statement right there is true too. But the law itself says making electronic information available to persons with disabilities. So
I do a lot of reference management to just scan hard copy documents to electronic form to PDFs. You have to meet your State International Archive and Reference Administration standard, which means 508 compliance, which means you have to scan an electronic document so that it can be read through a reader if ever need be.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that you have standards for scanning hard copy documents into electronic form
Yeah.
to meet these standards.
Well, in a similar vein, I mean, a lot of us have used various and sundry things to, you know, even if you've got Acrobat Professional, it's real easy just to say print to Adobe PDF, and that doesn't create,
You can't do that.
you know, that'll create a document that, you know, is at least machine readable, but it doesn't have any of the tagging it needs
Right.
in order to pass.
Exactly.
And that's, from the government standpoint, this was a big learning curve for a lot of people where I work, and that is, well, we're not putting it on the public website, so it doesn't need to be compatible. Sorry. You've got internal customers, you've got your own employees, many of which have disabilities. They need to be treated just like the rest of the public. So, and that's why if you're in a business that does business with the government, you might have seen some of this stuff, and this is why, because they want you to do it and deliver it. They don't want to have to do it themselves. Okay, so WCAG 2.0 is also, as of October 22nd, been adopted as an ISO standard. And this is the new baby that's coming out, and let's see. As of this year, the federal government has started, I say, wrapping Section 508 and WCAG 2. They're actually doing a relook at it. Like I say, one of my complaints about Section 508 is it's like a lot of other government's regulations. It's difficult to prove or disprove anything by reading it, you know, and that was because there wasn't really very many really good tests of things. You know, there was a lot of wishful language in it. Well, we want to do this and we want to do that, and you know, and the actual details of how to do it were left to the individual agencies. So much so that, for example, I get documents from the Veterans Administration, from Veterans Health Administration, that they say are 508 compliant, and they don't pass my tests, you know, routinely. And it's because everybody's kind of implementing what they think they know. But hopefully WCAG and all will put a quick end to that.
Nobody did an auditability review under on the requirement?
That sounds too much like work.
Oh,
No, I don't know. I don't know what, you know how those things are. That's Congress has a short attention span, I think, in a lot of respects, and they give people things to do, and then they don't check up on them, and they forget to give them money to do it, and you get what you get when it's all over. But what I do like about WCAG2, and now hopefully the rewrite of 508 that's will be due, who knows when, is that it does add quantity